Let me ask you a question. Why is it that the more you chase happiness, the further it seems to run from you? You got the phone you wanted, the clothes, maybe even the job, the money, the followers. And for a moment, a brief, shining moment, you felt good, and then the feeling faded. And you were left standing in the same place, wanting the next thing. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor sat alone in his tent at night, at the edge of a war he never asked for, and wrote words meant only for himself. A slave in chains taught free men how to be truly free. A wealthy advisor to an insane emperor wrote letters about why wealth could never make him happy. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, 3 men, 3 completely different lives. 1 emperor, 1 slave, 1 millionaire, and yet all 3 of them discovered the exact same secret about happiness. A secret so powerful that it has survived the fall of empires, the burning of libraries, and 2,000 years of human forgetfulness. The secret is this: lasting happiness does not come from getting more, it comes from chasing less. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through this ancient philosophy, step by step. Not as history, not as theory, but as a practical system you can start using tonight to protect your peace, master your emotions, and finally stop chasing the things that were never going to make you happy in the first place. But I have to warn you, once you truly understand this, you can never see the world the same way again. Let's begin. There is a race happening right now. Billions of people are running in it, and almost nobody knows where the finish line is. More money, more status, more approval, more likes, more attention. We are told, from childhood, that happiness is a destination. Get the grades, and you'll be happy. Get the job, and you'll be happy. Get the house, the car, the recognition, and then, finally, you'll be happy. But here is what nobody tells you. The finish line moves. Psychologists today call it the hedonic treadmill. You achieve something, your mind adjusts, and the achievement becomes normal, invisible, and a new desire takes its place. The Stoics understood this 20 centuries before modern science gave it a name. Seneca watched the richest men in Rome, men with palaces, servants, and gold, and he noticed something strange. They were anxious, restless, terrified of losing what they had, and tortured by what they didn't have yet. And he wrote a truth that should be carved above every shopping mall on earth. It is not the man who has too little who is poor, it is the man who craves more. Think about that. Poverty is not a number in your bank account. Poverty is a state of endless wanting. And by that definition, some of the richest people alive are the poorest people who have ever lived. Now be honest with yourself for a moment. How much of your stress, your anxiety, your late-night overthinking, your quiet feeling of emptiness, comes not from what is actually happening to you, but from the gap between what you have and what you think you need? That gap is the trap, and the world profits from keeping you inside it. Every advertisement, every highlight reel, every comparison on social media is designed to widen that gap, to make you feel one purchase, one achievement, one approval away from being enough. The Stoics escaped this trap with a single, radical shift. They stopped asking, "How do I get more?" And they started asking, "How do I need less?" Because here is the mathematics of happiness that no one teaches in school. Happiness is not what you have. Happiness is what you have, divided by what you want. You can spend your whole life increasing the top of that equation, or you can master the bottom of it in a single decision. And that decision begins with the most important idea in all of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus was born a slave. He was owned by another man. His leg was crippled, some say deliberately broken by his master. He had no money, no rights, no freedom, no future. And yet Epictetus became one of the freest, calmest, most unshakable men in the history of the world. Emperors studied his words. Marcus Aurelius himself kept Epictetus's teachings beside his bed. How does a slave become freer than an emperor? Because Epictetus discovered the one rule that changes everything. He taught that everything in life falls into exactly 2 categories: things that are up to you, and things that are not. What is up to you? Your judgments, your decisions, your values, your effort, your response. What is not up to you? Everything else. Your reputation, other people's opinions, the economy, the past, the weather, traffic, whether people appreciate you, whether life is fair. And here is the rule. Your peace depends entirely on where you place your focus. Every time you attach your happiness to something outside your control, someone's approval, a specific outcome, the way things should be, you hand your peace of mind to strangers, to luck, to chance. You become a puppet, and the world holds the strings. But the moment you bring your focus back to what you control, your response, your effort, your character, you take the strings back. Think about the last time you were truly upset. Really picture it. Someone disrespected you. A plan fell apart. Somebody got the reward you deserved. Now ask the Stoic question. What part of that was in your control? Not their words, not the outcome, not the unfairness. Only one thing was ever yours, your response. Epictetus put it simply, people are not disturbed by events, but by their opinions about events. The insult doesn't wound you, your judgment that you've been wounded. That's what wounds you. The traffic doesn't stress you. Your demand that traffic shouldn't exist. That's the stress. This is not weakness. This is not passive acceptance. The Stoics were generals, senators, and emperors, people of massive action. The difference is, they poured 100% of their energy into what they could influence and released the rest completely. Imagine that for a second. Imagine waking up tomorrow and spending zero energy, none, on things you cannot control. No replaying old conversations, no fear of other people's judgments, no anxiety about outcomes you can't guarantee. How much energy would you get back? That energy is the raw material of a peaceful life. And the Stoics knew exactly where to invest it. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man on earth, emperor of Rome, commander of legions. A word from his mouth could change the fate of millions. And yet, when we read his private journal, the book we now call Meditations, we don't find a man obsessed with power. We find a man fighting a much harder war, the war inside his own head. Plague was destroying his empire. His trusted general betrayed him. His wife's loyalty was mocked in public. Most of his children died before him. He had every reason to be bitter, paranoid, and broken. Instead, he wrote reminders to himself, and one of them contains the entire secret of mental strength. He reminded himself that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, not the quality of your circumstances, the quality of your thoughts. Because here is what Marcus understood. You don't experience the world. You experience your mind's interpretation of the world. Two people can live the same day, same weather, same traffic, same problems, and one goes to bed grateful, while the other goes to bed furious. Same world, different mind. Your mind is like an inner fortress. Events can attack the walls. Loss, insult, failure, rejection. But nothing enters unless you open the gate. No person can make you feel inferior, anxious, or worthless without your mind's cooperation. Marcus trained himself with a daily practice, and you can steal it. Every morning he prepared his mind for reality. He told himself, today I will meet difficult people, interfering people, ungrateful people, arrogant people, and none of them can harm me, because no one can force me to abandon my character. This sounds negative. It's the opposite. It's armor. When you expect the world to be perfect, every problem feels like a betrayal. But when you accept, calmly, that obstacles are part of the day, the rude comment, the delay, the setback, then nothing catches you off guard. You stop being surprised by life, and a person who cannot be surprised cannot be shaken. And Marcus went one step further, with an idea that turns every problem into fuel. The obstacle is not blocking your path. The obstacle is the path. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The difficult person is training your patience. The failure is training your resilience. The loss is training your wisdom. The Stoic doesn't ask, why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks, what is this here to teach me? Change that one question, and you change your entire life. Now we return to Seneca, because Seneca's life holds a paradox. He was one of the wealthiest men in Rome, advisor to the emperor, owner of estates and fortunes, and this rich man spent his life teaching one lesson. Wealth cannot make you happy, and wanting less can. He didn't say money is evil. The Stoics were practical. Money buys food, shelter, safety, opportunity. The problem is never money itself. The problem is dependence on money. The belief that your peace lives inside your possessions. Because the moment your happiness depends on something external, you live in fear. Fear of losing it. Fear of not getting more of it. Fear of someone else having more than you. So Seneca ran an experiment on himself. A strange one. Several days every month, this millionaire lived like a poor man. The cheapest food, the roughest clothes, a hard bed, and while doing it, he would ask himself one question: is this the condition I feared so much? And every time, the answer was the same. No, it was fine. He was fine. Simple food still fills you. A hard bed still gives sleep. The nightmare he feared was survivable, even peaceful. Do you see what this does? Fear of loss is the invisible chain around modern life. We stay in jobs that destroy us, chase approval that empties us, and guard possessions that own us, because we're terrified of losing comfort. But when you voluntarily practice living with less, even briefly, the fear dissolves. You prove to your own nervous system, I can lose things and still be okay. And a person who is not afraid of losing cannot be controlled. Not by employers, not by society, not by trends, not by anyone. Try it this week. One day of simple food, one day without the apps that feed your comparison, one evening with nothing but a notebook and your own thoughts. Notice what happens. Notice that the emptiness you were running from was never actually there. Then practice Seneca's second discipline, gratitude. But real gratitude, not the fake kind. The Stoic version works like this. Don't just list your blessings. Imagine losing them. Imagine, for 30 seconds, that you lost your eyesight today. Really imagine it. The darkness, the dependence. Now open your eyes. That thing you did just now, seeing. You've done it 1,000,000 times and felt nothing. Suddenly it's a miracle. The people in your life, your health, your hands. This day, you will lose all of it eventually. That's not pessimism, that's a fact. The Stoics used that fact as a lens, and through that lens, an ordinary Tuesday becomes something sacred. True wealth is not having everything you want. True wealth is wanting everything you already have. There is one Stoic teaching that people misunderstand more than any other. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. The Stoics kept this thought close, not to be morbid, not to be depressed, but because it is the sharpest tool ever invented for cutting away what doesn't matter. Seneca wrote an entire book about time, and his diagnosis of humanity still stings today. Life is not short. We make it short, by wasting it. We guard our money fiercely, but we hand out our hours to anyone who asks. We postpone everything real. We say someday I'll fix my health. Someday I'll forgive my father. Someday I'll start. And Seneca's warning echoes across 20 centuries. While we wait to live, life passes. Marcus Aurelius wrote himself the same reminder in his journal. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Here is the strange magic of this idea. The moment you truly accept that your time is limited, not as a concept, but as a fact, your priorities rearrange themselves automatically. The argument you've been holding on to for 3 years, it shrinks. The opinion of a stranger on the internet, it vanishes. The status game, the comparison, the endless chase, it suddenly looks like what it always was, a game played by people who think they have unlimited time. And what grows? The people you love, the work that matters, the character you're building, this conversation, this meal, this ordinary evening that, one day, you would give anything to live again. Death is not the enemy of happiness. Forgetting death is, because the person who remembers their mortality stops postponing their life. They stop chasing what doesn't matter, because they can finally see, with total clarity, what does. Everything you've heard so far is philosophy. Now let's make it a system, because the Stoics were not dreamers. Epictetus told his students that philosophy which stays in books is useless. It must be practiced, like an athlete practices, daily, until it becomes muscle. So here is the complete Stoic daily practice. 5 habits. A few minutes each. Start tomorrow morning. First, the morning preparation. Before you touch your phone, take 2 minutes. Ask yourself, what challenges will today likely bring? Difficult people, delays, temptations, frustration. See them coming in advance, and decide now, calmly, who you will be when they arrive. The prepared mind cannot be ambushed. Second, the filter question. Throughout the day, whenever something disturbs you, ask the only question that matters. Is this in my control? If yes, act, immediately and fully. If no, release it, completely, and without residue. Every worry in your life fails one of these two tests, every single one. Third, voluntary discomfort. Once a day, choose something slightly hard. The cold shower, the walk instead of the ride, the meal without entertainment, the hour without your phone. You are not punishing yourself. You are training yourself. Comfort, in overdose, is a poison. Small doses of difficulty are the vaccine. Fourth, the evening review. Seneca did this every single night. Before sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I go wrong? What will I do differently tomorrow? No guilt, no self-hatred, just an honest report, the way a coach reviews a game. This one habit, done for a year, will transform you more than any book. Fifth, the view from above. When your problems feel enormous, zoom out. See your city from the sky, your country, the earth, a blue dot in black space, where every empire, every celebrity, every crisis in history took place. Marcus used this exact meditation to shrink his problems to their true size. Your worries are real, but they are smaller than they feel, and you are freer than you know. Do these 5 things, and something quiet will begin to happen. The noise of the world will lose its grip on you. Insults will land like rain on stone. Desires will pass through you without dragging you behind them. And in the space where all that chasing used to be, you will find the thing you were chasing all along. Psst. Not the temporary kind that comes from getting what you want. The permanent kind that comes from no longer being enslaved by wanting. An emperor, a slave, a millionaire. 3 men separated by everything the world says matters: wealth, power, status, freedom. And all 3 arrived at the same truth. Happiness was never out there. It was never in the next achievement, the next purchase, the next approval. It was always in here, in the quality of your thoughts, the mastery of your responses, and the courage to stop chasing what doesn't matter. The race will continue tomorrow. Billions will keep running toward a finish line that keeps moving. But you now know something they don't. You are allowed to step off the track. You are allowed to want less, and in wanting less, to finally have everything. 2,000 years ago, these ideas were whispered in Roman courtyards and written in private journals. Today, they reached you. That is not an accident. That is a responsibility. So start tonight. 1 habit, 1 question, 1 moment of choosing your response instead of your reaction. Because the Stoic secret to lasting happiness was never really a secret. It was just waiting for you to stop running long enough to hear it. If this video brought you even 1 moment of clarity, share it with someone who needs peace. Subscribe for more timeless wisdom every week. And remember, you control your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.